I'm AJ from AG Tutorials, and in this video you will be learning about relational operators. In the last video we talked about arithmetic operators, so in this video we will be talking about something completely different. So open up Xcode and create a new playground, just like we have been doing in the last few videos. And you can just call this, of course, use a blank template, and you can just call this Relational Operators. And delete all of the code. So the basic idea of an operator is that it somehow manipulates the variables slightly. I mean, at least that is what we think from the arithmetic operators. The arithmetic operators I am listing right now. You have the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, the division, and the modulus operators. However, these operators are used to manipulate data. Relational operators, the entire point of relational operators is to compare data. So these right here are arithmetic or just math operators. And math operators manipulate data. So in this video we are talking about the concept of relational operators. And relational operators compare data. So what is the data type that should come to mind when we talk about comparing? So we have, again, from our choices, we have integer, we have double, we have Boolean, and we have strings. How can we tell if two things are related? What is the general data type that we will be using with relational operators? If you said Boolean, that is correct. And the reason why I say that is when we compare two things, it usually results in either it being true, or the condition being true, or it being false. Like, for example, if I said that 9 was greater than 8, we can say that this is true. But of course, if we say that 9 is less than 8, then we have a problem, and that is definitely false. So, in fact, I already used two relational operators, and this is very important. So when we list out the relational operators, it is important to note that these are kind of similar to the ones that we use in math class. The first one is the greater than operator. And it is comparing two numbers and seeing if one, which is on the left-hand side, is greater than the one on the right-hand side. Then we have the opposite of that. We have the less than operator. And it does the opposite. It checks if the number on the left is less than the number on the right. Then we have the greater than or equal to. The greater than, I feel like, here we go. Okay, anyway, the greater than or equal to operator. And you will notice that if you remember from math class, it was kind of like a greater than operator with the bottom line of the equal sign below it. In Swift, we use the greater than and then the equal sign to determine, and this is the greater than or equal to operator. Of course, we have a similar thing. We have a similar thing with the less than or equal to, the less than or equal to operator. So we have the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. And the last one, and the last two, are the equals operator and the not equals operator. And the not equals, this is the not equals. This is checking that if a value is not equal, so the value on the left is not equal to the right. Do you notice the mistake that I have made here? You might have noticed that in the equals operator, I used a single equal sign. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's right. The one equal sign is showing that the value on the left is equal to the right. But you have to remember, what do we use when we are creating variables? If I say var and I say name =, value, that is because a single equal sign is actually not the equals operator. A single equal sign is actually what is known as an assignment operator. It is used to assign values to something. We are assigning a value to a variable using the assignment operator. So we cannot use that assignment operator as a relational operator. There is a different relational operator for the equals, and it is using two equal signs. So a lot of people forget to remember. They forget this. And they forget the fact that an equals relational operator is different than the assignment operator. And it is a little bit confusing. Two equal signs is for equals. One equal sign is to assign a value. So you might be wondering, okay, well, we've learned all of these 6 relational operators. How are they used? And that is where Booleans come in. I can create a Boolean. Let me say I create a variable and I say sample Boolean. Or just for example, is greater. I can create a variable is greater. And I can say 9 greater than 8. Well, this is interesting. I'm not doing 9 plus 8. I'm using a relational operator. And relational operators compare data. So if I say 9 is greater than 8, is that true or is that false? And that is what Swift determines. If I were to print the value of is greater, you will notice that if I print that, it will print out true. It actually prints out a Boolean because is greater, and in fact, let's check. Is greater is of type. We can use the print type. Is greater is actually a Boolean type. Wait. Is greater. If I run this, you see BOOL. That's saying that it is a Boolean type. So creating a variable like this, while unconventional, sometimes it does happen, where we use a relational operator, and it actually can create a Boolean. So now not only can we create a Boolean such as this, sample Boolean is equal to true, we can say a variable sample Boolean is equal to true. We can also create it using a relational operator. So variable is greater. Now if I say equal to, and again I have to use the double equals, because if I use a single equals, you can also see how these are the same. This equal sign is an assignment operator, not a relational operator. As you can see, it causes an error, cannot assign to a value, because it's now thinking that I'm trying to assign 8 to 9, and that's not the case. I'm comparing the two, so I use a double equals. And you'll notice if I print this, it's also a Boolean type, so I can just use a simple print statement to print out the value of is greater. And you'll notice that it is false because 9 is not equal to 8. These relational operators are very, very useful, especially when we get into the next topic, where we talk about conditionals, where we are pretty much running code, certain code, if something is true or false. Booleans are, even though they can only hold 2 values, true or false, they are so useful in Swift, and it is very fundamental to logic inside of our programs. In the next video, we'll start to use Booleans to determine and solve problems in our code. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave comments in the comments section below. Like and subscribe for more content. Again, thanks for watching.